Hello everybody, this is Havoc with another Crusader Kings III tutorial. Today I want to give beginners another helping hand by presenting a few starting characters within the game. These characters could be labeled as good for beginners for a variety of reasons, from their small size to their potential in quick expansion to immersion and experience of the mechanics of the game at one time. It will indeed be a wide scope and not necessarily easy per se, but I will definitely let you know why I consider each faction good for beginners so that you can choose the right one for you. We are also only looking at feudal factions in this video. I found that the feudal government has the most understandable concepts around them and thus are typically easier to play as. I will be sure to do the same for the tribal and clan governments as well, and on top of that do things like quirky starts or fun starts, things of that nature, so look to those in the future. Before we start, if you are watching this video and have yet to purchase CK3, I highly suggest checking out my Games Planet link in the description and the pinned comment. At the release of this video, you can get a hefty discount for both versions of the game and your purchase directly supports the channel. If you're watching and that discount is gone, switch over to the Nexus GG link, my personally crafted gaming store where you get to see exactly how much you're supporting the channel. Both links will be in the description. Your purchase is in no way required, but will always be immensely appreciated. So let's dive into 4 feudal starts for beginners in 1066 in Crusader Kings III. Dublin 1066. If you've watched my 14 beginners tips video, I briefly talk about not playing as the petty kingdom of Munster and instead playing as Dublin if you're going to go into Ireland. Ireland in general is a great starting position due to it being out of the way of more major factions, allowing you to play a bit slower and easier so you can understand the mechanics of the game as a whole. Dublin's beginner status is due to a better overall experience of CK3 and its smaller size. Dublin starts as a smaller realm than Munster, but has several advantages to it. Though smaller in size, it does have a larger levy count and can more easily push claims on the surrounding areas without necessarily relying on alliances. Speaking of claims, it only has one at the start, the Earldom of Leinster, and you'll want to immediately fabricate another claim because you won't want to press that claim on Leinster. If you click on the Earldom, you'll see that the ruler is your father. Not only that, but the heir to the Earldom of Leinster is you. With your father being 71, it's a good guarantee that you'll inherit the earldom fairly quickly, which will help you understand the mechanics of succession while also giving you a free county with no control or opinion issues. Adding another county under your personal domain will increase your income and levies as well, giving you an even higher advantage over the surrounding factions. Family is also where Dublin shines among the Ireland characters. Earl MURCHAD does not have the largest number of children or siblings in Ireland, but all 3 of his sons are either adults or soon to be adults, meaning you can still influence their traits and marry them off to powerful factions for alliances, and then eventually rely on them as knights if you dare to do so. There are plenty of high-ranking daughters to wed to, and it should not be hard at all to secure those alliances to help you expand quickly. This combination should allow you to quickly gain enough claims and be strong enough to exert your influence over Ireland, and I found that it's very feasible to control all of Ireland within Earl MURCHAD's lifetime if you play your cards right. LEÓN 1066. King Alfonso of LEÓN is the perfect beginner if you want to learn about succession and scheming. With an incredibly high intrigue skill, he's the perfect schemer for Crusader Kings III, giving him a big boost to hostile scheme success chance, aka assassination, and a big boost to discovering schemes. Why does this matter so much? Well, as brother to both King Sancho of Castile and King Garcia of Galicia, who are both wifeless and therefore childless, you are the first in line to inherit Castile and second in line to inherit Galicia. Should both kings fall to some terrible circumstances involving, I don't know, mobs or spiders, you would inherit both kingdoms and triple the size of your own without raising a single army. If you can pull this off very quickly at the start of your campaign, you can then cause more chaos through assassination to the hostile Muslim factions to your south while also leading your now very decently sized armies to Deisvolt and to Hispania. Be aware, there's always the chance your schemes will fail, but considering Alfonso's skills level, it will at the very minimum give you some solid experience in the field. Bohemia 1066. Duke Vlatislav II of Bohemia is our next contestant, and he's one of the scenario picks in the main selection menu. Labeled as easy, he does have a lot going for him and will gain you some very decent overall game experience, which is a big reason to roll with Bohemia. To start, Bohemia is a vassal of the Holy Roman Empire and therefore has access to the election system for the heir. Under that system, you are one of 8 electors in the empire and can therefore vote yourself to be heir to the HRE. Should you desire to be the heir to the throne, this would be great practice in the art of intrigue and schemes where you could either sway another elector's opinion of you to the point where they'd vote for you, or you could somehow get hooks to force them to vote for you as heir for the next 5 years. A fair warning for new players, gaining control of the HRE is no walk in the park, and it might not be the best route for you to take, but use these electors as simple intrigue practice to get the concept down. Since you are a vassal of the HRE and you have about 10 vassals of your own, you can learn how taxes and levies work within the vassal system, as you will be contributing to the HRE and your many vassals will be contributing to you. You have most of your work cut out for you in this area, but browsing around and following both of my vassal tutorials should help you grasp the concepts of vassalage pretty easily. When it comes to alliances, you have 6 children to use at your own discretion. Use them wisely, and even use some to gain some traits that will pass down through the generations. The playing field is pretty huge, and you will have both sons and daughters to bargain with, maybe even giving you some experience in trying out matrilineal marriages if you so desire. The 2 biggest factors in choosing Bohemia: tax and levies. It's rare for a relatively smaller realm such as Bohemia to be making so much in taxes and to have so many levies, but Bohemia has a serious leg up in both. Your tax generation is due in large part to your Kutna mining settlement, duchy building in Kaslav, raking in 3 gold a month and an increase in holding taxes. And while your vassals are indeed contributing a hefty amount to levies per month, the buildings in your county of Vladimiris are cranking out 1/3 of your entire levy force. There are a couple of downsides to playing as Bohemia. First, your son is not your heir, it's your brother. Your succession law declares that the oldest member of your entire dynastic house is your heir and inherits all of your titles. To make things more complicated, you have several brothers and nephews that are older than your eldest son. This is not entirely a bad thing since succession still stays within your own house, which you want inside of Crusader Kings. But for role-playing purposes or just wanting to keep it within the immediate family, you're going to have to find a way to get rid of several family members before your son can take the throne. The second downside is that you are pretty much forced to go east for expansion, and your 2 neighbors are the massive countries of Poland and Hungary. Hungary is a beast I'd stay away from, and if you can push into Poland quickly and early enough in the game before they gather alliances, you will stand a chance with your superior levy numbers. While I still highly recommend Bohemia, my advice is to go quick for some men-at-arms regiments and recruit the following: bowmen to counter skirmishers, pikes to counter horse, and onagers to siege quickly. The AI will trend towards heavily using skirmishers and horsemen in this game, so you will be able to easily counter both during your campaigns. Just be careful and don't recruit so many men-at-arms that it breaks the bank once you declare war or are declared war on by your neighbors. Bohemia is fun, and honestly, it is great for beginners to learn the more complex ropes of Crusader Kings III, but it definitely comes at a risk. Ruthenia 1066. Moving just outside of Bohemia, we come to Ruthenia. Ruthenia is less of an easy start for pure beginners and more for beginners that want to push their luck a bit and understand the larger concepts of pressing claims, mass succession, and dealing with rivals. Ruthenia's large levy army and decent tax income would set it up to be a sweet, easy beginner start were it not for Chernigov, which is not only equal in levy strength, but its leader is one of 4 rivals you will have to deal with. Roll with the army setup I mentioned with Bohemia and you should stand a good chance at winning against them. Moving on to why Ruthenia is a good beginner's country, starting with claims. As Ruthenia, you have 35 claims under your belt, although only a small handful are pressed claims. Pressed claims will pass down to your children and still be valid. Unpressed will be lost on your death, so keep this in mind for all future campaigns. What this means for Ruthenia is that you can press more than 1/2 of Chernigov's lands under de jure duchy claims, a truly massive amount of territory. This will give you great experience in which claims are wisest to press, and a note for beginners, it might not be best to press the largest ones, and how to manage a decently large war for the start of the game. And all of the claims on Chernigov are pressed, so they will pass down to your children, giving you ample time to chip away at the rival nation at your own pace. Mass succession is the next big concept you will get to check out with Ruthenia. If you click on your Issues tab, you will see that you are personally in line to inherit a lot of various titles, from first in line to fourth. This means that on the deaths of each owner of each title, you are either next in line to get those lands or you will soon, assuming some people meet some unfortunate ends. Play around with any lands that are handed to you, should that happen in your first character's lifetime or the next. Finally, one of the heavier sides of intrigue and scheming are rivals. Rivals are characters that genuinely despise you their entire lives. These characters will do whatever they can to make your life hell and laugh while doing it. As King IZIASLAV, you have 4 rivals that you have to deal with. The fun part about these rivals, 3 are your brothers and 1 is your own son. The best part about it, they each rule their own countries, with one of your brothers owning Chernigov. Dealing with so many rivals will really help you get scheming down quickly. It would be well worth pursuing the scheme lifestyle to help with hostile schemes and take them down. Oh, and you'll also lose a ton of stress once they're dead, so that's a pretty huge incentive. Again, Ruthenia sets you up for a really solid start that isn't too terribly difficult, but is definitely on the more skilled side of beginners. Those that have completed a smaller campaign but aren't ready for the more difficult campaigns where you may start with no heir or be completely outmatched around you. That will wrap up this video on 4 feudal starts for beginners in 1066. This is the first of hopefully many videos on the idea of good starts, so if you enjoyed it, let me know by giving it a thumbs up or commenting down below. Let me know some of your favorite starts in Crusader Kings III and why. I'd love to hear about them and maybe they'll be featured in a future video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're always up to date on videos. Thanks for watching, this is Havoc, and I will see you later.